Hi, all. Good evening. Hi, Venkat. Hi, Shirisha. Am I audible? Shirisha, am I audible to you?
Yes, Venkat garu.
Okay, Shirisha. Okay, I'm starting the session. I'm sharing my screen. I have shared my screen. I hope everyone able to see my screen. See, we have, as a recap of previous training, we have covered all the 8 locators, how we can use the locators like ID, name, tag name, class name, XPath, CSS selectors, all we have seen. And we have seen the find element method, how we can use driver dot find element of by is a class. So in a by class we have all the methods like a id method. For all locators we will use the methods. Okay, we have seen all everything like that. The link text, partial link text, everything we have seen. These are the 8 locators: id, name, class name, link text, partial link text, css selector, export, tag name. And we have seen how we can use it. So initial step is we need to create the driver object, and then we need to open the required application using get method, and then using find element method driver after creating object dot find element method inside in find element method by class dot the corresponding locator method. By class is having all the locators methods like id, class name, tag name, everything. So like this, we have covered in the previous training. So in the inside the method ID locator method, we are passing the value of the ID attribute from the HTML, the DOM structure. Okay. For every locator, we are using like this driver dot find element by dot name that locator method passing the name attribute value. The same way, driver dot find element of by class dot partial link text, the locator method passing the value of the link text, partial link text, same way. Driver dot find element method by class dot partial link text method of passing the partial link text value. The tag name also same way. So if you have the multiple links, then we are storing in the list object. List type of object equal to driver dot we are using when it is a list of elements means list of links, not only single link, more than one link on a web page, then we are storing in a list using find elements method, not find element. This is a for single element locator, we are using find element. For multiple elements locators purpose, we are using find elements method, and we are storing in a list object. By class, the tag name method, the locator method, passing the value of the link text. That means tag name, anchor tag, right? Link means anchor tag. So the tag name we are providing. Yeah. So after that, we are using CSS selector. Okay. So like that, we have used all these locators in the previous training. See, normally always keep it in mind how we can choose the locators. If it is a single value, if it is unique values, always go for using the ID locator and name locator. Okay. It is always advisable to use instead of XPath. XPath is for dynamic web applications, it will be useful. So if you have a single, I will open an application so that. You can. When you open a application, just press F12 or right click on a web page, select the inspector to find the DOM structure of the HTML code of the page. So two ways, right click on the web page, select inspect, or on a keyboard press F12 button. After pressing F12, you can able to see the DOM structure of the page like this below. So these are all source code of this page. So there is a pointer, mouse over pointer. Click on this on the left side corner and point any web element. I'm just pointing Amazon.in page title web element. So if you see here, this is a link. We are clicking on it, right? So that's why link means anchor tag. It is having one ID value. So that means if any element is having a one unique value for the ID name, then go for using ID locator and name locator. Okay. While using locators, make sure that your locator points precisely to the required element. Okay. That means always we need to go for the required element for locating the any web element. So that means we need to choose the locators based on our requirement. Okay, and also when ID and name having is unique values for a particular web element, always go for ID and name. Okay, don't use the other locators. Okay, it's easy and it's little faster also to identify the web element. If the needed scenario needs to perform some operation on a single element, example, after identifying some text box element, we need to enter the values on a text box. After finding the button, what action we need to do? We need to click the button. After finding text box, what action we are doing? We are entering the text in the text box, like a username, password, all text boxes only, right? So that is the we are performing a action after identifying element. So after selection of a drop-down web element, what action we are doing? We are selecting the values from the drop-down, like option one. So in a drop-down, we have multiple values, right? For any application. So example, gender is there. So if gender is a drop-down means it will be having a three, four options, male, female, and some other factor. So to select those values, we'll go for the we'll do the actions using for the selector class. That means we will use the locator to identify the select web element. That means drop down web element, and then we'll perform the actions for selecting the options from the drop down. So that is the action after identifying drop down web element. So like that, and also we need to make sure that your locator exactly matches to only one element. Example, when in a web application, sometimes we'll be having multiple links. Example, in this case, right? See here, Control F. Go for the Control F. Okay, on the DOM structure, right? Press Control F. Here. So Control F means just we need to find the particular attribute or property, the tags, and a DOM structure. So just we need to after pressing the after giving Control F, right, the search box will be find by strings selector or expert. So just give some syntax. That means expert look at the syntax to identify the web element. This is the value. ID is attribute. Value of the attribute is ID. Then you should give. If you see, it is having one of one in the search box, right? When you are giving the locate the expert syntax or whatever like other locator syntaxes, right? It will give how many elements available on the web page as an index, one of one, right side. If you see, when I type the syntax, right, for expert syntax, for the Amazon title in to identify this web element from the DOM structure, I have given the expert syntax. Then after giving the appropriate, the accurate expert, accurate locator syntax, it will identify how many elements available, such kind of elements on a that web application. The web page, this is a page, right? For the Amazon application, this is a home page. So on the web page, how many Amazon.in available? It is showing index like this, one of one. If Amazon.in available three, four means links means it will show one of two, one of three, one of three, two of three, three of three, like that indexes. So if it is a unique element, it will show one of one. So always go for the using appropriate matches and one only one element, because we need to click the Amazon.in. That means one element only, right? This is a page element or web element or page element, both are same. So on a page, web element means we can call page element. So normally all these are web elements, right? Or page elements. So when you click, when you want to click Amazon.in, the web element or page element, then we can write the syntax like this, and we'll identify how many Amazon.ins are available. If it is only one, then it will click that. It will look at, that means it will identify that a web element using this expert syntax. Just I have written expert syntax here. The same way, that means they are saying always we need to make sure that exactly matching with only one web element while using the locators. If the locator points to several different elements, then it may cause breakage in your script. That means using this syntax, if it is showing one of three, that means three same duplicate elements available on a this web page. Then if you use this syntax, right, it will break your code. It won't find exactly this Amazon.in web element. Correct? If I use this one, class name, just I will show you. I'm just taking the class element, class name. There is no such web element identified using this. this is a class name. So this is the to identify this product web element, right? The customer's most loved product for you. That means I just selected this product, this image. So it is the this is the DOM structure HTML source code. That means class attribute value. So when I give this value, see all these are what I want to show you now. Show you all now is when you are writing the syntax, right? We can find sometimes if it is having there is no duplicate here. If it is having duplicate web elements like a same link Amazon multiple times or same some other text box or some drop down 3 4 times on a single web page, then it will show the multiple the locators, right? That means not a single locator value, multiple locator values. So then we need to use indexes, index 1, index 2 to point at the particular web element. So in that case, if you are not using any index, if you are using directly the syntax, which is having like as I have written, right, the expert double slash the anchor tag here Amazon dot this is a link is having one element. In some other applications, some links are having multiple links, the same link name multiple times on a single web application. In that case, if you are writing a syntax double slash anchor tag at the rate of id equal to something or at the rate of class something, then it will identify some four web elements and with the same locator value. Then if you are not using particular index, if you are using directly the syntax, right, without giving index, so it will it won't. So it is very difficult to identify the exact element because the same duplicate elements are available. Four duplicate elements are available on a web page. So that's why they are saying we should not go for such kind of locator usage. Okay, that means we can use a ID or locator. Don't use some other locators like class name or some other tag name because which is showing multiple duplicate locator values for the duplicate web elements. And the practical also when we are practicing, I'll show that. I think yesterday I have shown one element having multiple indexes. That means it is having duplicate web elements on a web page. So always we need to go for the unique value, the locator value to identify the web element on a web page. And also always for the XPath CSS selectors, right? When you are using XPath and CSS selectors on a dynamic web pages, then it is also little dangerous sometimes because the values keep on changing. When the web page changes, obviously the locators will change. Normally, when you are working on any project in IT company, then after a week or after 2 weeks during sprints, if you are working on agile model, every 2 weeks some deployments will be there. Some page, some functionality they are going to deploy on a particular web pages. Then in that case, sometimes they will be keep on changing the locator values. Then if you are using one locator value last week, next week when after code changes, right? After moving the new functionality changes, then it will be again problem to identify the exact web element using the same code. Again, you need to do the maintenance. You need to change the locator values. So that's why we should be very careful while using the XPath syntaxes. It is very easy to use XPath syntax and CSS selector syntax, but for the longer run, right, it is having some reliability issues, code breakage issues, maintainability issues. So the code is keep on changing means we need to keep on changing the maintenance, and the code reliability will be very less. We can't trust the code always. That means when you are executing the automation test case, it won't run. It will give some errors because the locators are changing. Again, you need to do the maintenance. Maintenance means first time you are writing a one test case, you are executing, that is done first round. Then in after a sprint, again some changes came, again you are doing some regression testing. So again you are running executing the same test case again and again to make sure the existing functionality is working as expected, and also new functionality is working as expected. In that case, we need to do the maintenance for the existing automation scripts. So that because of this continuous changes on the locators, so we need to do the continuous maintenance. So that is also it will break the code, right, without changing the without doing maintenance for the existing test cases. Whenever locator values changes, it won't execute successfully the scripts. The code will break, right? So that's why we should be very careful while using XPath and CSS selectors. These are the tips actually while using the locators. See, we can use any locator, but we should be very careful. If it is having duplicate elements, we should use proper index to identify the accurate, the proper web element. So this is the way 8 locators, and also we will discuss about the what are the important methods, common methods we are using for the locators to identify the element and to perform the actions. Okay, in the Selenium WebDriver, we can interact with various web elements such as text boxes are web elements, drop downs are web elements, buttons, links, page titles, alert pop-ups, windows, frames, checkboxes, radio buttons, search boxes. All these are web elements on a web applications, right? If you use any web application, ICICI Bank application, okay, Amazon or Flipkart or any insurance company, any insurance applications, all are web applications, right? Then you can we can able to we used to find the text box web elements, drop down web elements, buttons, links, all these web elements on all the web applications. So we are interacting with the such kind of web elements on any web application, right? Using Selenium WebDriver. So for that, below are the commonly used methods to interact with these elements. Okay, these are the methods. We need to use methods in a Selenium WebDriver for every web element to perform an action. So for text box, after finding the text box using the locators, we need to use the method to perform an action on a text box. What action we are doing text boxes? We are entering the values, right? So example, I will show the code also after few minutes. So text box, after identifying the text box using some ID locator or XPath locator, so a web element is identified. That means this Amazon title bar is identified. Okay, after giving the locators, then what we need to do the action on this? We need to click, right? So we need to click is a action on this web element. So the same way we have find this is a text box, right? locating the text box. Okay. So app email. If you see on any attribute value, you are just mouse over right, then it will highlight the corresponding web element. If you see, I am just pointing the email, the type attribute value. Okay. And also ID attribute value. So it is whenever you are pointing mouse over right on the attributes, so you in the page it will highlight the corresponding web element. So you can pick the value and you can pass in the locators to identify the web elements. In this example, to identify the email text box, I need to use the ID locator or any other locator. So after that, what I need to do after identifying after inspection this web element, action is text box, right? I need to pass the value. Okay, some phone number I need to pass, or some email ID I need to give. So these are all I'm giving input, right? Text box. I'm giving the entering the text. That is the action. So for that, in Selenium WebDriver, we have a method send keys. To interact with the text boxes, we typically use send keys. Sorry, to enter the text and to retrieve the value. Okay. So send keys method will be used to enter the text on the text boxes after identifying by the locators, and also we are retrieving the values using the get attribute of value method. So what is the example for this method, send keys method? First, we need to create the driver object. So when we are using Chrome browser, create a driver object which is a WebDriver type. Okay. So WebDriver is a Selenium WebDriver, right? The class. So we are driver is a WebDriver type of object, and using new operator for the Chrome driver class. Chrome driver is a class name. Okay. So this is a Chrome driver class. We are creating a driver object because we are using Chrome browser. That's why we are using Chrome driver. If you are using IE browser, we need to use IE driver. If you are using Firefox browser means we need to use Gecko driver. So for Firefox, Gecko driver is a class name. So we need to create using the corresponding classes based on the selection of browser. We need to create the driver object. That is the first step in Selenium automation code. After creating a driver object, object dot get method. In Selenium WebDriver, get method will be used to open a web application. So we are opening a web applications using get method and a Selenium WebDriver. This is also very important method because without opening application, we can't go to any web application, right? We can't identify the elements, we can't perform the actions. So application is not opening means we can't automate the web application. So initial step is we need to open a required web application using get method in Selenium. So object driver object dot get method passing the URL of the application. So after that, we are finding the text box and entering some text. So finding text box means driver object dot find element of method by class dot ID locator method. So ID is a locator I am using here, and attribute value is ID attribute value I am passing here. This value we need to identify in the application, right? So these are the ID values. So you can find ID values here. Example, if I'm clicking this, pointing this text box web element, ID is this value. ID attribute, the value is app underscore email. Okay. So this ID value I need to enter here. And then after, see what we are doing here, text box is a one object or one variable you're taking, which is a web element type. because all are web elements only, right? This is a web element, this button is a web element, and a web application, everything is a web element. That's why web element class is there in Selenium packages. So web element type of one object text box equal to, so this is a web element, right? So we are taking text box. We can write any name here. Okay, text box, some text one, text two, whatever object name, which is a web element type, equal to the locator driver dot find element method. The locator method is by dot id of the value of the attribute id attribute. So after this locator, the object will be stored here, text box, the identified object. So now text box is identified. Next step is that object is stored here, right? The identified object using this method stored in the web element type of text box object. So text box object, after identifying, we need to perform the action. What action? We need to enter the text, right? For that, we are using send keys method. Okay. So this object identification is done. After that, that object dot send keys method. What we are entering text, some username, right? Or some in this text box, we are using some email ID or phone number. So that text we need to, that value is entering here in a send keys method. So always remember, for any text box on any web application, for text box web element, to enter a value text, we need to use send keys method in Selenium. Okay, this is an interview question also. How you will enter the text using send keys method in Selenium. After inspecting the web element using this method, then we need to use send keys method to perform action. Action is enter the text. Sorry. So and then next action is retrieving the value from the text box. Retrieving value means we are entering some phone number and I want to retrieve this value. So for retrieving the value from text box, we are using get attribute method. Okay, on a web element, text box is a web element, right? Text box is a, this object is web element type. On a web element, we have a method get attribute method. Okay, on any web element. So text box is a web element, right? That object dot get attribute method. This get attribute method will be used to retrieve the value from the web element. So get attribute of the value. Value means this value only, right? So always we need to retrieve the values from the web elements using get attribute method. Okay, and the return value we are storing in the one string object. Then we are displaying that object, enter text. So this is how we need to use send keys method for entering the text and the text box web element. We are retrieving the value from the text box using get attribute method. So these two methods will be used for text box web element. Send keys to enter the text, to retrieve the text value is get attribute. So next method is drop down web element. If you see in this web application Amazon, this fresh is there, right? Fresh is a drop down. Okay, so which is having some two values. So like that, prime is a one drop down, which is having all these other options, 1 2 3 4 options. So to identify the any drop down web element on any application, when you are using some banking application, ICICI Bank or HDFC Bank, or some insurance application, some hospital applications, or any sale marketing commercial applications, when you find any drop down like this, we'll be having drop down options, right, based on the application requirement. So to identify the drop down and to perform the actions on a drop down, to identify the drop down, we will use the locators. To perform the actions on a drop down, we will use select class. Select class. On a select class, we have select by value, select by index, select by text. Those are the methods available in a select class in a Selenium WebDriver to perform the actions on a drop-down web element. So that's what this select class. So any drop-down on a web application to to perform actions on any drop-down web element, we will use select class. To interact with drop-down, Selenium provides the select class to select the options. Okay. So example, as I have shown here, we need to what action we need to do? We need to select this option or this option or this option. Any required options. 1, 2, 3 options are there. So in that case, I need to use select class. Okay. But in the Selenium WebDriver, we will see the example of code. So always when you import org.openqa.selenium package, this is the same package for Selenium, right? Common package. org.openqa Selenium in Selenium package support UI select. So this is the select class available in this package. Okay. So whenever you are using select class, just import this package. Okay. And after importing the select package, we need to first step is after any Java code, Java class, first step is the importing packages, and then we are creating the objects, right, for the particular classes. So in Selenium, for the Chrome browser, we are using Chrome driver class. So for the Chrome driver class, we are creating the object. After that, object.get method will be used to open the application. Give the URL of the application URL here to open it. For opening application on the Chrome browser, we are using get method. And then drop down. So this method select class will be used. The select class methods will be used to perform actions on a drop down web element, right? So before performing actions, we need to identify web element. So driver.find element of by.id locator method and passing the attribute value, id attribute value. So this syntax used, this method find element method used to identify the drop down web element. So drop down web element, which is a web element type. That's why web element type of drop down object equal to the identified web element is storing in this object, which is a web element type. Correct? This all these are web elements only, right? And Amazon, all these are web elements only. So drop downs also web element. So web element type of drop down object equal to we will identify using find element and locator, ID locator. After that, identifying the drop down object, this is the method we'll use. First, we'll create a select object for select class. In Java, we know the syntax, right? How to create object for a class. Select is a class means class name, object name equal to new operator class name. So for select class, we are creating object. So we are passing the identified drop down object here. So this is the syntax for the select class object creation in a Selenium WebDriver. So creating select class object, passing the identified drop down value. That means drop down web element. So first step, we identify the web element and we are creating select class object, passing the web element, because on that web element only we need to perform actions, right? What action will perform and drop down? We will move down and we'll select the appropriate value. For that, we are using select class. We are passing the web element, identified drop down web element object. See, these are the three methods in a select class. Select by visible text. Select, if you see, after creating a select class object, object dot select by visible text. This is a one method available in select class. So select class in Selenium having three methods. because we already imported the package, right? All the methods available to use it in the program. So select by visible text is one method of select class. We will use it to select the text value. Okay, the option one. In the drop down, we have multiple options, right? The first option will be selected using this visible text. Select by visible text method and a select class in Selenium WebDriver. And second method is available in select class is select by index. Instead of giving the text of the value in the sense, in this drop down, the text value is free fast delivery on prime items. This is the option one text. Latest movies and TV shows. This is second option text. Okay, 1 second, guys. See here, the second method is first method in select class is select by visible text. Second method is select by index, and third method is select by value. So we have three methods in select class. Select by visible text method, we will give the the option text value and index value. Each option having index, right? The first index, second index, third index. So by using the index also, we can identify the drop down options, and we can give the exact values. Instead of giving text, we can give select by value. So drop down option values. So using the drop down value, we can select the options using select by value method. Using index of options in the drop down, we will to select the options using index means select by index. To select the options in a drop down by using the visible text, for that we'll use select by visible text method. So we will use either of the one method. We have three methods here: select by visible text, select by index, select by value in a select class in a Selenium WebDriver. So we will use any one of the method to select the options in a drop down. That is the action we are performing, right? After identify the drop down web element, we need to select a one option required value from the drop down to perform a action as per your test case. So for that, we have three methods. We can use any method to select the values from the drop down. So in Selenium WebDriver, to handle the drop down web elements, we have a select class. So we need to create a select class object and we need to pass the drop down web element, identified web element in a while creating a select class object. Then we will use the object dot select class object dot methods, select by visible text of text value, select by index of index value, select by value of the drop down option value. So we will use only one method, not all the methods. Either of the one method from these three methods to perform action on a drop down web element. This is the select class to perform action on drop downs. And we have buttons, web elements, right? In a example, in this web application, if you go to sign login page, we have continue button. So we have mouse over, point, highlight this, click on this continue. Then it will highlight the DOM structure, the HTML code, right? So input tag, ID is continue. Okay. And class name is this. So ID attribute, the value is continue. Class attribute, the value is a button input. So this is a button. What action? First, we will identify the button using the locators by using this attribute values, right? Either ID or name or class using locators. After identify the continue button, what action we are doing? We are clicking, right? On any web application, the button web elements, what action on button web elements, what action we are doing? We are clicking the buttons. So action is clicking a button. So to click a continue button here. So after identifying the continue button in this Amazon application, then we need to perform the click action. Okay. For that, buttons. So if any buttons come across on the web applications, then how to interact with the buttons? So interaction means we need to, after identifying the buttons on any web application, we need to perform a click action, right? We need to interact means we need to perform click action on that buttons. So to interact with the buttons, we use click method. So in Selenium WebDriver, we have a click method to simulate the button clicks. Okay. So click method will be used to perform the clicks. So see here, we will see the example how to use click method to perform a click action on a button. Okay. So in Selenium WebDriver, we are creating a first driver object, Chrome driver. So for Chrome browser, Chrome driver class is there. For Chrome driver class, we are creating a driver object, which is a WebDriver type. And then driver object dot get method to open a application. This is application URL you are passing. And then button. So on an application, to identify the button, just we are giving web element type of button object equal to the method driver dot find element method. This is the common method to identify the web elements on a applications in Selenium. Driver dot, that means driver means object. We have created object here. So object dot find element of by class type ID locator and pass the ID attribute value. So after identifying the web element button, what action we are doing? We are clicking the button. So button object is identified and we are clicking the button. So for that, Selenium is having click method. So after identifying the button, we have stored the value in the button object, which is web element type, and button dot click method. So click method will be used to perform a click action on a buttons on the web applications. Okay, that's why in Selenium we have a click method to perform click action on a buttons, identified web element buttons. So this is a click method used on a button web elements. So this is a one method. So links means The same way as we have seen, right? See, we have multiple links here. Amazon, and this address is one link. Amazon title is one link, and this is one link. So all these links, right? We are clicking all these links. So when your mouse over, when you're clicking there's something, right? See here, anchor tag. Anchor tag is there. If you are pointing the ID attribute value, it is highlighting the this address link. Correct? This is also link. Anchor tag is there. We're highlighting whenever your mouse over on a attribute value, ID attribute value, any value. It is highlighting the corresponding web element, the address web element, which is a link type. That's why anchor tag is there. So to identify, to perform actions on the links. So when you identify any link like this, what action we need to do? We need to click, right? Buttons also we need to click. For link also we need to click on a link on any web application. So after identifying the link web elements and the web applications, what action, how we are interacting with the links means click method. Same click method will be used to perform action on a links, identify the links, identify the links, web elements to simulate the action, click action. So the click method will be used to interact with the links, web elements and web applications. So what is the example for the links uh, web element actions means? The same way, we will create the driver object. We are opening the application using get method, and we are storing the link object using driver.find element of by.link text. Because link means we have two methods, right? Two locators, link text, partial link text. We have used link text here. So by class is having two methods, right? Link text method, locator method, partial link text, locator method. We have used link text locator method, which is a text of the link. Contact us is a text link text. So we identify the link, storing the value here, and after identifying the link element, we'll perform the action. We are interacting with click method. So buttons, if any buttons or links on the web applications, we will perform click action only, right? So for click action, we'll use click method in Selenium WebDriver, either links or buttons. So of that identified web element dot click method. So this is how we will use click method to perform click action on a links on a web applications. Next is page titles. On a web applications, right? Gmail page, Gmail title will be there. Amazon title. So on any web applications, we used to find the page titles, that particular web page title. So to retrieve the title of the page, we can use get title method. So in Selenium WebDriver, we have a get title method to retrieve the title of the page. For any web page, we'll be having titles. To retrieve the title values, we'll use get title method. So how we will do it? We'll see the example. First step, creating driver object, opening application using get method, and then see here, title object, which is a string type. Title means is string type only, right? Text only, group of characters. So title is string type equal to driver object dot get title. So driver is a WebDriver type, right? So on a WebDriver, we have a get title method. WebDriver is a class, right? Or interface or class. Then we'll be having methods, right? Either class or interface. So WebDriver is also having get title method. So to retrieve the title page title value, we will use get title method on a driver object. So after creating a driver object dot get title method will be used to retrieve the title value. We are storing in a string variable. Okay. Sorry. Akshay, he's waiting actually. కింద వెయిట్ చేస్తున్నాడు. వచ్చి 5 minutes అయింది. 1 second నాకు, 1 second అక్షయ్. 1 second, 1 second, నేను కనుక్కుంటున్నాను. So this title we are retrieving using get title method, and we are storing in a variable, string type of variable or object. So we are printing the that page title. Okay, so in Selenium WebDriver, get title method will be used to retrieve the page title. Okay, so remember this method, get title method will be used to retrieve the title name on a web application, a web page. So we have alert pop-ups. Normally, when you're handling any web applications, we will get some pop-up or notifications. Small windows. It's not a window, it's a dialog boxes, pop-ups. So when we come across the pop-up windows, how to handle pop-ups on web applications using Selenium WebDriver. So in Selenium WebDriver, we'll be having a alert to handle the alert pop-ups, accept method, dismiss method, get text method, send keys method. So alert class will be there. To handle the drop-down web elements, in Selenium we have select class, right? The same way, to handle the alert pop-ups, pop-up windows, we have a alert class. Okay. See here, alert is a class. Alert type of class type of object equal to, we will write the syntax. I will tell you about this. So alert class will be there. So alert class will be used to handle the pop-ups. Okay. In Selenium WebDriver. In alert class, we will be having accept method, dismiss method, get text method, send keys method. See, in Selenium, right, it is very easy to use Selenium automation tool. Why means, for every web element, we'll be having one method to perform action. For text box, send keys method. For drop down, select by value, select by index. For alert pop-ups, accept method, dismiss method. So if you are practicing these methods, right, that is done. Selenium is, we will use the Selenium. So in like a core Java, right, we don't have many concepts in Selenium. In Selenium, directly for every web element identification, one locator will be used. And after identifying the web elements, will perform the actions. And text box means send keys method. Drop down means select by value, select by index, or select by visible text. Or pop-ups means accept method or dismiss method. To retrieve text from the pop-ups, so get text method. So the same way, if you identify the button, click method will be used. So it is very straightforward in Selenium. So it is very easy to understand the Selenium automation tool to write a program also. So for that, we need a basic knowledge of core Java. How to create a class, how to create an object, how to call the methods using object reference. All these are Java concepts, right? So that's why we learned Java before Selenium. Now it is very easy to understand the Selenium programming. If you see here, for alert pop-ups, alert class will be there. Alert class is having accept method, dismiss method, get text method, send keys method. If you see importing the alert package, org.openqa.selenium, this is a package, right? Selenium package. In Selenium package, we have alert class. So we are importing the this package for the alert class in a Java class. Sorry, in a while writing the automation test case. So when you're creating a class for the Selenium for your test case, first step is we are importing the required packages. We are for this alert we are importing alert class package. Then we are creating the driver object and we are using get method to open the application. And we are alert means trigger an alert. This will vary depending on the web page. So based on the web pages, the actions on alert will be vary. So how we will see? See here, trigger button. Example, when you are come across the alert pop-up window, then we will identify the alert pop-up using some ID locator. Okay. Then we are storing in a web element type of object. Then we are performing the click method. Click method. Why means alert pop-ups also having two buttons. OK button, cancel button. Okay. So when any pop-up window comes on a web application, we'll be having either OK button or and sometimes we have OK and cancel buttons. Okay. Then we need to perform the action, right? And OK button. So sometimes we have only one button. Then we just use the click method to perform the action. Click action. So this is a triggering alert. That means clicking that pop-up window button. So second is switch to alert and accept it. One option is directly clicking the button. After identifying the trigger alert, if we have only button, so click method will be used to perform the action. Sometimes normally second way is we need to switch to alert pop-up window and we need to accept it. Accept means OK button. Dismiss means cancel button. If a pop-up window is having two buttons, OK button, cancel button, first we need to switch to alert window and we need to click on OK button. After switching, we can click on cancel button to dismiss. So for that, this option, switch to alert and accept it. So alert type of object equal to driver dot switch to dot alert. See, this is the method we need to remember. Just understand the concepts and remember the methods. When you want to switch to alert window, alert pop-up window, then we will use switch to method. So driver object dot switch to method, where we are switching alert pop-up window, right? That's why driver object dot switch to method dot alert method. Okay, this is the syntax. So driver dot switch to dot alert, using this method we will switch to alert pop-up window. So after that we are using one text object, text variable. What is a text? On a pop-up window, along with the buttons, we'll be having some notifications, right? Why developers are keeping the alert windows, the pop-ups, to pass some message to the user. Example, when we are using some application, Amazon or ICICI Bank or anything, some pop-up window will appear. That means some notification to the user. So that notification is a text only, right? They are writing in English, the plain text. So to get the text from the alert, we use get text method. Okay, the alert message is in a plain text, right? Plain English text only. So to get the text from the alert pop-up window, we will use get text method. Okay, that alert object. First, we will identify the alert. How we are switching to alert. So we are storing into alert object or alert variable, whatever alert type, alert class type of object. After that, after switching to alert, what we need to do? We are getting the text from the alert. how we are doing that alert object dot get text method. Like a Java, everything is after creation object, we need to call the method, right? So alert object dot get method, get text method. So as they have mentioned here, we have three methods: accept method, dismiss method, get text method, send keys method. We have four methods available in alert class. So for accepting the pop-ups, we'll click on OK button using accept button, accept method. We'll dismiss, that means we'll cancel the pop-ups using dismiss method. Get text method means we will read the text on the pop-up window. We'll retrieve it. That is get text. Send keys means if any text box in a pop-up, we'll enter the text using send keys method. These are the four methods available in alert class. Okay. So after switching to alert window in this example, we are using a alert object that get text method to retrieve the text on a alert pop-up. We will get the text from the alert pop-up, and we are storing in a string type of variable, and we are displaying it system.out.println that alert text, whatever text displayed on a pop-up, right? We are retrieving it using get text method, and we are displaying using system.out.println, and then we are accepting it. That means we are reading the text and we are clicking an accept button. That means OK button. So for the click on OK button for accepting the pop-up, alert pop-up, accept method will be there in a alert class. So alert object dot accept means we'll click on OK button. We're accepting the alert, the pop-up alert. Now this is the how in Selenium WebDriver we will handle the alert pop-ups using the accept method or dismiss method, get text method, and send keys method. So the next method is switch between the windows. So example, this is a Amazon page, right? I'm clicking on this. This is opening some new page, right? For that button. So sometimes what happened, it will open a new window. This is a one browser window. It will open another browser window, another application. That's same. Based on the web element actions, that it will go to new page in a new tab. That means multiple browser windows will open on a web application based on the your application behavior. So in that case, how to switch between the windows? If there is a five browser window open on a single web application, then how you can switch to one window to other window? Example, the root window is parent window is one only. On the parent window, when you click the action, that means when you click any web element, it will open a new web page in a new window. So you need to switch from parent window to child window. So how we will do in Selenium WebDriver means switch between the windows is will be done using get window handles method in Selenium WebDriver. To switch between multiple windows, we can use get window handles. This is also interview question, important question. The interviewer will ask you how you will handle the switching between windows in Selenium. You need to say we have a say get window handles method in Selenium. So get window handles method will be used to switch between multiple windows in Selenium using Selenium. So switch between multiple windows of a web application will be done using get window handles method in Selenium. And switch to dot window method. So we have two methods. Get window handles means first we will store all the browser. If any five browser window opens, we'll get all the indexes of the windows, all window names or indexes. So five window values will be stored in get window handles method, and we will switch to the required window. First window, if you want to go to second window or third window, we will switch to using switch to dot window method. So we have get window handles method and switch to dot window method. Okay, to perform actions on switch between windows in Selenium. So we'll see the example. First, we'll create the driver object for the Chrome driver and open the application using get method. Application URL will be passed, and after creating a driver object, after opening a web application using get method, we will you create the will identify the web element, right? So window web elements. So web element, everything is a web element only. So web element type of object open window button equal to driver dot find element of by class dot id locator method, and we are passing the id attribute value. So this is how we will open a window button. So this web element will be identified. Open new window means if any new window opens, example, on a parent application, when you click any button, it is navigating to, when you click any link or button, it will navigate to some new page. So to identify that, we will use this method. Okay, driver dot find element of by that id of that value. So we'll identify the new window. After that, we'll click on new window, click method. Open a new window. This depends on the page behavior. So the page is designed in different ways, right? Sometimes directly open a window. Sometimes it is opening multiple windows. So based on the behavior, that window will open. If it is open a new window, then directly go to identify the new window and then click the button. Example, in this case, right? In this, just we have seen Amazon. See here, what I have done. I clicked some sign in. It is not opened in a new page, new tab. It is open on the same page only. It navigate to this login page. So in that case, you just use click method because it is not open multiple windows, open in single window only. If it is open based on that, is that's what they are saying. If if the application is designed in such a way, when you click and sign in, if it is opening in a new window, the original page will be there. The login page will open in a new tab, new window. In that case, we will use get window handle method. If it is opening in a same window, one browser window only, originally Amazon home page, when you click on some sign in option, web element, it is opening on the same window only. It navigate to sign in page within the same window. In that case, use click method directly. Okay, identify the window and then click using click method, click that button. Okay. So after that, we have second option. Get the window handles and switch to the new window. If multiple windows open, example, multiple tabs open on a single application, it depends on the application design. So in some applications, it opens multiple windows for every action, for every web element. For a link, if you click on a link, it will go to some new page. If you click on some tab, it will open a new window. So if in that case, if it is opening multiple windows, then we need to use get window handle method. Okay, the get window handles method. So get the window handles. We need to get the window handles and switch to one new window. For that, the syntax is the main window, the parent window is driver dot get window handle. If it is a parent window means the main window, the string type of main window equal to driver dot get window handle. So get window handle is used to get one parent window, right? If it is a single window, we will use get window handle. If it is multiple windows means we will use get window handles method, not the handle. Get window handle is one handling main window. Get window handles is to handle multiple windows when opens on a web application. So for each loop. This is an enhanced for loop. We have seen array list concept, right? In Java collections programming, we have seen how to use enhanced for loop. This is a for each loop means enhanced for loop, not a normal loop for loop. So enhanced for loop will take a new string type of object window handle, which is storing these values. Driver dot get window handle means it is finding the parent window value, right? So driver dot get window handles. So this method is used. This is only for main window. This is where for multiple windows. Get window handles. So driver dot get window handles is returning some values, string values, right? That means 5 window opens means it is storing the 5 string values. So driver dot get window handles is storing in a string variable which is handling 5 windows, right? So that values is assigning to one new string variable window handle in using the for each loop. Because why you are using for each for loop here, for each loop, we need to iterate. We need to switch to one window to other window, right? For that we are using for loop, for each loop here. So after getting the window handles using driver object, we are storing in a new string variable, string object. So if, and we'll use the if condition. If window handle, see here, window handle object is having list of handles now. 5 window means 5 values will be there. So window handle dot equals of main window. So this value is having the list of windows, right? If 5 windows means five window indexes or 5 window names will be there. 5 windows values. So those are available in storing in window handle string object. So if that window handle object dot equals of main window. In Java string concept, we have a method equals ignore case method. We have two methods, right? To compare two strings. Here, window handle is having one string value and main window also is a string value. So we are comparing two strings here, window handle and main window. So to compare the two strings in Java, we have a equals method. So here we are using equals method to compare the two strings. So one is window handle strings equal to when it is we are checking if the window handle string is equal to main window. If it is the main window, if it is equal to main window, then driver dot switch to dot window of window handle. That means if you are identifying the open window is the main window, it is not a new window, then switch to that main window using this method driver object dot switch to method dot window method. Inside the window method we are passing the value of the window handle. So window handle is having the main window value, right? So we are switching to the main window because see here it is not equal. I missed this one, apostrophe is there. If window handle dot equals of main window, that means if it is not, if window handle is not equal to main window, that means window handle, if it is not equal to main window, that means if it is not a main window means then we are switching to the new window. That is the meaning. So if window handle get window handles is having a list of values, right? If it is not equal to the main window, then switch to the new window using the driver dot switch to dot window method of the corresponding window handle value. So that is the logic here. So for iterating the multiple windows, we are using enhanced for loop. We are storing the get window handles in a string type of window handle object, and we are comparing with the main window. If it is not, if the string value is not equal to main window, then switch to the new window. How to switch to new window? Driver dot switch to dot window of that particular new window handle value. After that, we are breaking it. So breaking means every time we need to perform the action, right? So end after ending completing the iteration, so we are breaking it. So this is the logic we are writing to handle the multiple windows in Selenium WebDriver. So in Selenium WebDriver, we will use get window handles method to handle the to switch to multiple windows. So this is the example for the switching to multiple windows in Selenium. Okay, get window handles method will store the list of windows, and then we are switching to the new windows using switch to dot window method. Perform actions on a new window. So what is the perform actions on a new window means? When it is a new window means web element type of new window equal to driver dot find element of by dot id of new window element. So multiple windows, new windows opens, right? If it is new window, we are identifying the new window using driver dot find element of by class dot id locator method. We are storing the value in new window element, which is a web element type. Okay. So after identifying the new window element, we are clicking the window. Okay. See, what we are doing here, we are just switching here. After that, we are performing the action here. Okay. How to perform actions on a new window. So after identifying the window, we need to perform the click button. Close the new window. This is the method we'll use. Close method will be used to close the window, new window. So driver dot close method. See, for calling any method, we will use driver object. So driver object dot close method will be called to close the new window and switch back to main window. So if two windows open, main window and one new window. So new window will be closed using close method. So driver dot close method means the new window will be closed and it is switching to the main window. How to switch to main window? Again, we need to write driver dot switch to dot window method of main window. So we have main window right here. This one, main window. So this is a main window, right? So after closing the child window, new window, we are switching back to main window. So this is the method. So switching windows is a very good important method in Selenium. Okay. See, every method is important. Without methods, right, you can't perform actions on a web elements. So we need to remember all the methods. Just practice. We need to practice it. So switch between frames. So if a web application having frames concept, then we need to use iframe concept. Like a opening in multiple windows. Sometimes when any application is designed, it is having the frames also. Within a frame, we have some web elements. So whenever it is identifying some frames in a web page of any web applications, we will use iframe concept. So we will to switch to iframe, we use switch to dot frame method. Like a window, right? Switch to dot window. When you identify any frames available in web pages on your web application, then we will use iframe concept. There we will use switch to dot frame method and can identify frames by index. So by name web element. See, the frames will be identified using the frame index, frame name, or web element. So these are the three values we will use to identify the frames in a web application using Selenium WebDriver. So how to switch between the frames means switch to dot frame. Frame means multiple frames available means based on the index we'll go to the required frame, and we will identify using name also the frame and web element. Three ways, three options to identify the frames. So iframe concept will be used to switch between the
to identify the frames and to be switching between the frames. This is also very important in some applications, banking applications, in core banking applications and all. They we used to come across frame concepts in a DOM structure, right? It will show like a frame tag. So whenever you come across the frame tag, then you can find frame ID, frame index, some frame name. Then you can give the attribute name value to identify the frames. For that, we'll see the example. First, create a driver object. Driver object means WebDriver of driver object equal to new Chrome driver. For Chrome browser, creating driver object. That after creating object, driver object dot get method to open the application and switch to frame by index. First option is how to switch to frame by index of the frame. Every frame will having some index, some name. Okay. Then we will switch based on the index. How we will switch based on the index, frame index. Driver dot switch to method dot frame. We are passing the index value. If it is a first frame, so 0 index will be passed. If it is a second frame, first index will be passed. So driver dot switch to method dot frame method passing the index value. Okay. So switch to frame by name or ID. So based on the frame name or ID, how we will switch? Driver dot switch to method dot frame. We are passing frame name. When you have the frame name in the DOM structure, HTML source code, then you can use this method. Driver dot switch to dot frame. Inside the frame, we are passing the frame name. If you have index means if it is having multiple frames, you can find indexes also, right? DOM structure. 1 of 4, 2 of 4, 3 of 4. So multiple frames means using the index, we can frame index, we can find the required frame. And we can switch to the required frame using driver dot switch to method. So driver dot switch to dot frame of index or name or ID. So perform actions within the frame. See, after switching to the frame, example, after switching to alert pop-up, after switching to window, we have performed actions, right? For alert pop-ups, what we have done? We have used the accept method, dismiss method, get text. After switching to window, we performed click action. So here, after switching to the frames, we need to perform some actions, right? The same way, like alert pop-ups and windows. We have performed some actions after identifying those web elements. The same way, after identifying the frames web element, we need to perform the actions within the frame. So inside the frame, we have some web elements. Frame is like one form. Within the frame, we have some web elements again in the web applications. So inside the frame, to identify the web element, same syntax, driver object dot find element method by class of ID method passing the ID attribute value. So we are identifying the web element inside the frame, not a normal web page. In a normal web page, directly we are identifying frame concept, that means frame web element. Inside the frame, we have the web element. So first we need to switch to the frame first. If any frames available in the web application, first we need to switch to the frame. After switching to the frame, we need to perform the action on a web element. So inside the frame, we need to identify the web element using driver dot find element method using by dot id locator. Then we are storing the frame web element, the frame element. Inside the frame, we have a web element, right? That we can call frame element, which is a web element type only. All are web elements only, but frame is a one web element. Inside the frames, we have some web elements. Everything is web element and web page, right? Applications. So we are identifying the web element in a frame. We are storing it in a frame element object. After identifying the frame web element inside the frame, we are performing the click action. If it is a button, we need to click the button. And also This is also important here. Switch back to default content. So we need to we need to come out of the frame. Then we need to give the syntax driver dot switch to dot default content. So it will come to the main window. So driver dot switch to dot default content. After performing action in a frame, we need to come back to the main window. Then we need to use this syntax switch back to default content. That means switch driver dot switch to dot default content method will be used. So this frames concept also very important. Okay, just practice this. That means go through these methods and understand the methods. And when you are writing the code, we need to use these methods. So checkboxes, how to handle the checkboxes on a web applications. Checkboxes means to interact with the checkboxes, we use click method to select or deselect. Checkboxes means we need to check or uncheck, right? For that we will use click method in Selenium. Select or deselect of checkboxes, we'll use click method. And is selected is to check if it's selected. So is selected is a boolean type, right? Just we are checking the checkbox is selected or not. For that we are using is selected method. Okay, for verification only. For validation of checkbox selected or not, we are checking using is selected method. So what is the example for checkbox interactions? So creating driver object, open the application using get method, and checkbox web element, identifying using driver.find element, by.id locator, attribute value, id attribute value based on the DOM structure we should give. So for the if any checkbox web element on an application web page, so we are identifying using find element, and in DOM structure we have id attribute value for the checkbox element, and we are passing that driver.find element of by.id the value, and we are identify the checkbox element. After identify the checkbox element, check if the checkbox is already selected. Just we are before checking selecting the checkbox, first we are verifying whether checkbox already selected or not. For that, if condition, if checkbox dot is selected, so we have is selected method, right? Is selected method we have. So for that we are checking checkbox after identifying the checkbox, we are checking checkbox is already selected or not. So checkbox dot is selected. If checkbox is not selected, apostrophe means not. We are checking if it is not selected. If there is no apostrophe, just checking it is selected. So if checkbox is not selected, apostrophe checkbox dot is selected means if checkbox is not selected, then select the checkbox. How we are selecting the checkbox? Perform the click action, right? Click action. To interact with the checkboxes, we use click method. To select the checkboxes, we are using click method. So after identifying a checkbox is not selected, then we need to select the checkbox using click method. So checkbox object dot click method. So this is the direct method for checkboxes selection. So when you find a radio button on web application, to interact with the radio buttons, we use click method to select the radio button, and is selected is same way for radio buttons also similar to checkboxes. We use click method to select the radio button. To check already radio button selected or not, we are checking is selected method. What is the example for handling radio buttons in Selenium is, so creating a web driver object, open the application, and identifying the radio button. So web element type of radio button, driver.find element of by.id of the radio button attribute id value. So using this, we are identifying the radio button. After identifying the radio button, we are checking already radio button selected or not. For that is selected method is there. So if radio button object identified radio button is selected, if it is not selected, select the radio button. That means if radio button is not selected, apostrophe means checking if it is not selected. So radio button, identify the radio button is not selected means that radio button object dot click method. That means we are selecting the radio button because it's not selected. If it is not selected, we are selecting the radio button using click method. Select the radio button if not already selected using click method. So these are the radio button web element interaction method, click method. So search box. We have some search boxes, right? Example in Amazon, if you go to main page, we have search box. This is a search box, right? We are identifying some search boxes, laptop. Okay. So we are we are typing something and it will come the corresponding products, right? So based on the searching option, right, we'll go to the corresponding products. The same way, this is example I'm showing. This is a search box. Okay, to handle the search boxes in Selenium WebDriver, how we will handle the search boxes? Search boxes also we are entering text only, right? We are entering some text, some product name, and we are searching it. Correct? In Amazon. The same way, search boxes means to interact with the search box, we use send keys method. We use send keys method. So to enter search a term and submit to submit the search. What we are doing? We are entering some text, and we are click on search button, search option. So how we will to interact with the search box? We use send keys method. We are entering the values first, and then we are clicking the submit button to submit the search. So send keys method and submit methods will be used on a search box web element on a web application. So what is the example? Driver object creation for Chrome browser, get method used for on a driver object to open a web application, and then search box web element identifier using driver.findElement method by class type id locator method passing the id attribute value. So directly we are identifying the search box. After identifying the search box, what action we are doing? We are entering the text, right? The same way here we are entering the some search some text. So we are send keys method will be used to enter the text. Okay. After entering text, what we need to do? We need to click on the search button, right? Submit button. So search box identify the search button after entering the text. So click the search box, that search box button. So submit button will be there. Submit the search. So enter the value in a search and submit the search using that identified search box element dot submit method. So we have send keys method and submit method to handle the search box web element on a web application. So these are the methods we use in Selenium automation. For text box, send keys method to retrieve the values, get attribute method. For drop down, we will use select class. In the select class, we have three methods: select by visible text method, select by index method, select by value method. So we will use either one of the method to perform action on drop down to select the drop down values. Buttons, if any buttons identified, example, if you sign in, this continues a button, right? To perform any action on the buttons, we will use click method. Links, in Amazon example, we have a links. All these are links only. Address link, login page link, Amazon title page link. So we will perform a click method for when you identified any links. So the common methods Selenium WebDriver to perform actions on a web elements are these. For links, we'll click. For page title web element, we'll use the method get title to retrieve the page title. Alert pop-ups. We have any, if you have any pop-up windows come across in the web application, we will use alert class in alert class, we have accept method, dismiss method, get text method, send keys method. So we will use these methods in alert class to handle the alert pop-ups on web applications. How to handle the switch windows on the web applications? Get window handles method to handle the multiple windows and to switch to the required window, switch to dot window method. So two methods, get window handles method, switch to dot window method. To find the list of open windows, storing in get window handles method, and after that we are switching to required selected window. If you switch to second window or third window, we will use switch to dot window method. These are the methods to handle the switching windows on web applications. How to switch the frames? So switch to dot frame, switch to dot default content. So frame iframe concept will be there. Using the frame index, frame name, we will use identify the frames, and then we will use the switch to dot frame method, and switch to dot default content means to the return back to the main window. We'll use switch to dot default content, and switch to dot frame means to go to switch to required frame. Checkbox means how to perform action. Checkbox means using click method, and before selecting the checkboxes, we are checking whether already checkbox selected or not using is selected method. Radio button also, click method will be used to select the radio button. Before selecting radio button, we are checking whether already radio button selected or not using is selected method. So search box will be on a search box web element. We will use send keys method to enter the text on a search box. To submit the search button, we will use submit button. So only these are the important methods in Selenium. So if you are aware of these methods, right? If you understand these methods, that is done. We will first we will use the locators, 8 locators. We can use any one of the locator to identify the web element, and to use any one of the method on a particular web element. If it is a text box, use these methods. Drop down web element, use these methods. So that is done. If you understand the locators, 8 locators in Selenium, if you understand all these methods on the web elements, how to perform the interactions with the web elements, Selenium automation is done. Okay. So once you are understanding the locator concept to identify the web elements and the common methods to perform the actions on the web elements, we can able to write the automation test cases. I mean to say, if you understand the locators concept and common methods available in Selenium, we can easily write the automation test cases code. Okay. See example. I'm showing one small example here. This is I will close in 5 minutes. So what is the example? I'm just going to the Amazon web application. I'm going to login window, and I'm clicking entering the credentials, username, password, and clicking the login button, and landed into Amazon homepage, and I'm searching one product, and I'm purchasing the product. For that, I'm writing we are seeing the code. For that, what we need to do? First, we have Java installed in our laptop, in our computers. So Java is available, and Selenium imported. For that, I'll show this small Eclipse example in Eclipse IDE. See here, I have created one Selenium Maven project. First, normally in Java, what we need to do? We need to go to new. We need to create some Java project. Okay, but in Selenium, when you are creating a Maven project, it is a properly structured, where you need to write the base page classes, where you need to write the particular web application, each page. One web when example in ICICI Bank, in that application, when you click on any deposits, payments tab, any tabs, it will go to the new tabs, right? New tabs windows. Okay, that means on a web application, you will go to any new windows also. So for every page, everything is a page only. Payments page, deposits page, withdrawal page. All are like we need to create some separate classes. For every page, we are creating a separate class in Selenium using page object model. I will explain in next session clearly. High level I am telling. So we are creating a Maven project means it is a properly structured project in Eclipse IDE. So in any IDE, Eclipse or IntelliJ, when you are creating a Maven project, it is a properly structured. What is how it is? We'll see. See, source main Java source main Java is created. So the main Java classes will be stored in here in this folder. Source main Java folder and source main resources. Okay, and source test Java, source test resources, and Java libraries. JDK installed means if you are creating a Maven project, the JRE library, the Java libraries, and Maven dependencies and other libraries also automatically downloaded in this Maven project. That's why always create a Maven project when you are doing automation, when you are creating a automation, Selenium automation test cases. So this is a kind of a framework. So when you are creating a Maven project, it is a kind of a automation framework. There you can use testng. I will tell all these. Testng we will use for the execution purpose. Executing the test cases, we will go for testng. Maven is a build tool. We will build a project with a proper structure. For that, we will use Maven build tool. And when you create a file new Maven project, it will create a proper structure in a Maven project for Selenium automation framework. Then we'll create the classes like this. Login page. Example for login pages, I am creating a I will create a in this source main Java folder. I am creating a packages, right? We need to create the packages like this. Right click on this folder, new package. Same in Java training we have seen, right, how to create packages. Select the folder, new and package. After creating the package, it is created com dot. I have given the name of the package is com dot example dot pages. After in the package, if you select the package, right click on it, new class, Java class. So this Java class is created for the login page. Okay, so in the pages, in the proper in source main Java folder, we are creating the page classes, we are creating the test cases, and we are creating the utility classes. So this is properly structured. It is not clumsy. It is not created in a single package. It is created a pages wise, page classes. It is created test cases wise, functionality wise test cases. It is created a utilities classes. Utility classes means to set up the driver. Initially, driver created and open a using the driver object. All the utility classes. How to quit the driver. All we are maintaining in a separate class. So this is separate. This is a properly structured project. That's why we will create Maven project. Okay. So just I am showing here how we are using Selenium automation project creation. So after creating this, right, we need to write the code like this. Selenium code to automate a login. I have given one test case. Login into Amazon web application and search a product and purchase a product. That is one test case. So then we need to write a code. Import the package selenium.buy. Buy is a class, right? So buy class is needed for the locators purpose. By find element method of by dot link text by dot partial link text. So all the locators is available in by class. That's why we are importing by class. Importing WebDriver. Driver object is created using WebDriver, right? So WebDriver is imported. WebDriver class. Web element classes. All the elements, all page elements are web elements and web application, right? That's why we are importing web element package. And we are using Chrome browser. When you're opening application Chrome browser, we need a Chrome driver class. That's why we are importing Chrome driver class. And we are using WebDriver wait class. Example, in Amazon like this, na. I'm clicking the sign in button. It is going to login page. I'm entering some text, okay, and I'm clicking new, some text. I'm clicking new, continue button. So to perform each action on each web element, it will take some time. Sometimes because of the server slowness or some internet issue or something, the page design also behavior, we need some time to perform each action, to enter some text. After that, click on a continue. That means every time Selenium WebDriver need to communicate with the Chrome browser in a with the Amazon application to inspect the text box, to perform, to enter the value, to identify the text box, enter the value, and then to identify the continue button, click the continue button. All these, na, it will take some time. For that, we will use WebDriver wait. So after entering text value, before clicking the continue, I am giving some wait time. Wait for 10 seconds. So enter the value before clicking the continue button. Just wait for 10 seconds or 3 seconds. So for that, I'm using WebDriver wait class. For that, I am importing WebDriver wait. And then we have a accepted conditions classes. That means we are using dynamic wait here. We have two types of weights. I will implicit weight, explicit weight. I will explain later. So implicit weight means a static weight. Explicit weight means dynamic weight. So directly during the runtime, if you want to inspect the element perform action, if you want to wait for the dynamic web elements, we'll use the explicit wait condition. So explicit wait is having expected conditions class. So it is, this class is having some methods. Element to be located, is element to be visible, element to be clickable. All these methods available in expected conditions. So it will wait for some time, and after 2 seconds or 3, based on the time which we are giving wait time, and performing the actions using expected conditions class. For that, we are importing expected conditions class. So after importing the required Selenium packages classes, we need to create a class, public class, class name. We can give any class name. Here I am giving Amazon login, because this test case is Amazon login and search product. So in a class, just see, don't confuse. If it is a Java project, we can go for main method. If it is a Maven project, don't no need to create a main method. Just this example we are showing like a Java project. So don't confuse about the main method. For Java, in core Java, right, this main method is very important. But in Selenium automation, when you create a Maven project, we are using testng. Testng we are using for the execution purpose. So normally in core Java, JVM is for the executing. JVM is used for the compile the code execution the Java code, right? The same way, testng is a one tool will be used in Selenium Selenium automation. For testng tool is used for the execution of automation test cases. So when you use testng, no need to use the main public static void main, because we are not creating Java project. We are creating a Maven project. In a Maven project, we are using testng for the execution of automation test cases. So in testng, we have some annotations: at before method, at before class, at before test, at after test, at the rate of test. So when you give at the rate of test, no need to give main method. At the rate of test means the test case will be, for every method will give at the rate of test. That means we will say execute that particular test case. So no need to use the main method. Just I am telling the difference. So when you use a testng, we can use the annotations at the rate of test instead of the main method. Okay. So just for an example, this is a Java project example. Public class name, public static void main. So inside that main method, or if you give testng annotation at the rate of test, both are same. Okay. So in Maven project, we are giving testng annotations. In Java project, we are giving public static void main method for execution purpose. So JVM will come to main method and perform the actions. So here in this class, what is the test case? We need to open a Amazon application. We need to log in into Amazon application after giving the credentials. We need to search the product. We need to purchase the product. That is the test case. For that, what we need to do? First step is Chrome driver. Set up the path for the Chrome driver. See, when before creating the automation test cases, the prerequisites are in any automation project in any company, we will decide which browser to use. If you decide a Chrome browser is using for the application, for your project application, because in a in your IT company, you need to work for any banking project, insurance project, or health insurance or health project. So all are web applications only. So those applications opens in which browser? That is already decided before creating the test cases. So you know you are going to use Chrome browser. So for that, you need to set up the Chrome driver. Okay. So set up the path for the Chrome driver. Make sure you downloaded the correct version. See, before creating the classes automation test cases, the initial prerequisite, the initial steps are we need to download the Chrome driver. If you are using Chrome browser, we need to download the Chrome driver. See, in IT companies, already IT team will be there, separate IT team. So they will set up everything for you. No need to worry. They will download all the Chrome drivers. But in some cases, it is our responsibility as automation tester to verify whether the downloaded driver is compatible with the Selenium version. If a current version of Selenium is some 4 point something, if Selenium version is 4 point, the Chrome driver version should be some 5 version or 6 version something. So Chrome version is some 9 version. So Chrome driver version is 9 means which is compatible with the current version of Selenium. That we need to check. So otherwise you can't, your Selenium code won't execute. That's why initial step is we need to create the Chrome, download the proper Chrome driver which is suitable to your Chrome browser. Okay, your Chrome browser version should match with your Chrome driver and also Selenium version also. So first we need to download the proper Chrome driver. After downloading the driver, it is storing in the C drive some program files, some location. You will find Chrome driver folder. Then after downloading the Chrome driver, we need to set the property. So this is the syntax we need to use always for the Chrome driver. System dot set property of the driver name. So webdriver dot chrome dot driver. This is the Chrome driver name, right? We need to give within the double quotations one parameter. So set property method will be having two parameters. System by default system dot set property method having two parameters. We are passing two parameters. One is a driver name that is always same. For Chrome driver means webdriver dot Chrome driver. For IE means webdriver dot IE dot driver. For Firefox means webdriver dot gecko dot driver. Something like that. So we will give the driver name one argument or parameter, comma. Second parameter is the path of the Chrome driver. After downloading the Chrome driver in your laptop, it will store in C drive program file somewhere, some folder. You need to give that path here. Wherever the Chrome driver is available, you should give the path of the Chrome driver as a second parameter. So system.setProperty method having the two parameters. One is the driver name and path of the driver, Chrome driver. After that, we are first initial step is you need to download the Chrome driver which is compatible with the Chrome browser versions and then set property of the Chrome driver. After doing these two, after ensuring these two validations, then you need to initialize the WebDriver. So we can create the object for the WebDriver. So WebDriver type of WebDriver is a class, right? See here, import WebDriver. So WebDriver is a class. So WebDriver class type of object equal to new Chrome driver because we are using Chrome browser, right? So we downloaded Chrome driver. So for Chrome driver, we are creating a object. For IE means Internet Explorer means IE driver, new IE driver, the object will be created. If you are using Firefox, we use new Gecko driver. For Mozilla Firefox, we will use the driver name is Gecko driver, Gecko driver. So based on the browser, we'll download the drivers and then we'll create the objects. Now we are using Chrome browser. So Chrome driver object is created. After that, first step is open a Amazon application. So driver object dot get method. As we have seen previous few minutes back, get method will be used to open any application. So driver object dot get method passing the Amazon application URL, https://www.amazon.in. So when you give the application Amazon application URL in a get method, it will open a Amazon application in Selenium. So Selenium get method will be used to open any application after giving the URL of the application. After that, we need to maximize the window. Initially, we are not opening manually, right? Our Selenium is the driver object is communicating with the Chrome browser and it is opening the Amazon application. After that, we need to maximize the window. Initially, through automation, manually means we are maximizing using this button, minimizing, maximizing something, the window applications also. But automation, through automation, the driver need to maximize it, right? For that, we will use maximize button. Okay. The window, the browser window maximize. How we can maximize the browser window using maximize window maximize method. So maximize the window is using driver object dot manage method dot window method dot maximize. So driver dot manage method window method maximize. So this is a common syntax to maximize any window in a browser. So driver dot manage dot window dot maximize method will be used to maximize any application browser window. So after opening the application, we need to maximize the window using this method. This also you need to remember how to maximize any application window means in a browser means driver dot manage method dot window method dot maximize. So after maximizing the Amazon application in a browser, we need to log in into Amazon, right? So for that, we need to enter the username, identify the username button, enter the username value, identify the password button, and enter the password value and click on the login button. So for that, we need to write a code. So click on a sign in button. This may change depending on the page layout. So how to click on a sign in button? We will find the first sign in button. Driver dot find element of by class dot id locator and passing the id attribute value. So we are identifying the sign in button and we are clicking the sign in. We using click method. We have if it is a button, web element is a button. The what action we need to do on the buttons? We need to click the buttons. So using click method in Selenium. So after identifying the buttons using driver dot find element of by dot locators, and we need to on that identified object we need to perform the click method to click the button. So this is the performing of login button code and wait for a login method. See this method na. See here. This one. This is a link. Is a button or link. Sign in. So clicking this button. So for that only they have written this code. First, before going to login page, we need to click a sign in button. So we are identifying the sign in button and clicking the button. And after that, for every in Selenium, it is very important to give some wait time because sometimes applications will be so slow because of some application slowness or because of some internet issues. So always give some wait time for every action. After clicking the sign in, give some wait time. That means this WebDriver wait, right? WebDriver wait class will be there. So give some WebDriver wait method. So WebDriver wait class will be there. For that, See here, WebDriver weight is a class, object is weight. We need to create a object for the WebDriver weight. So first create an object for the WebDriver weight and passing the driver object and how much time we need to wait. So 10 seconds. So always create this wait object. Syntax is same. WebDriver type of object wait equal to new WebDriver wait class passing two arguments. Driver object value, driver object comma wait time 10 seconds or 5 seconds based on your application need. If your application is little faster, give 5 seconds. If it is application little slow, give some 10 seconds. Sometimes you're supposed to give 30 seconds also. Okay. This number is varies based on your application behavior, application speed. So we should give driver object parameter and wait time while creating a dynamic wait object. So WebDriver wait is a wait class creating object, passing driver object and wait time. After this, we will use WebDriver wait object dot until condition, until method. So until, so we are waiting until some element to be visible, some element to be enabled, some element to be clickable. So until is a method which is having expected conditions class. Expected conditions class is having some methods. Visibility of element located. That means here after entering text, you need to identify the continue and you need to click the continue. If this button is not enabled, you can't click, right? If button is not loaded, you can't click. If you are not able to see the continue button, where you will click? The driver, the Selenium driver don't know where is the button, how to click. If it is a button is available, button loaded on a web page, then Selenium driver will identify the button, it will click it. But if there is no button loaded yet, if it is taking some time, it will wait for some time and click the button after button is enabled. For that, we are giving wait time. Button to be visible. After button visible, we are clicking the button, right? For that, before the button visible, we are giving some wait time. Wait for button to be visible. So giving wait. So wait that until of expected conditions dot the visibility of element located. So by that ID of this one, see visibility of located, again what we are doing, we are identifying the web element only, right? So this continue button we are identifying. So for that we are writing by dot ID. So we are identifying the element. So when this element is located, enabled, then only you can perform the action, right? So wait dot until. So we are asking driver to wait for 10 seconds to visible the element, identify the element. Okay. For that we are giving some 10 seconds time. So enter email and phone number. See here to load this page, after clicking the sign in button, we are landed into the login page. So before coming to this page, we are giving some 10 seconds time. After clicking sign in button, before coming to login page, we are asking driver to wait for 10 seconds. So it is waited. Then it is identified, text box element identified, continue button identified. Then we need to identify the text box, email text box using same syntaxes. Web element type of email text box equal to driver dot find element of by dot ID of email. So after identifying the email text box, that object web element dot object dot send keys method. As we have seen a few minutes back, if any web element is text box, we will use send keys method to enter the text. So here email ID or phone number we need to enter in text box. So after identifying the text box, using send keys method, we are passing the text email ID. After that, again we are identifying the continue button. So web element type of continue button. Driver dot find element of by dot ID of continue. So we are identifying the continue button using ID locator, and then we are storing the object identified object in continue button, which is web element type. So once continue button identified using driver.findElement method, identified object dot. So it is a button, right? Continue is a button. In Selenium, if the web element is a button, then we need to use click method. So we are using click method. Okay. So entering email ID, identify the text box or user text by email ID text box, enter the email ID, identify the continue button, click the continue button. So we'll perform these actions. So wait for the password to appear. So after giving the email ID continue, we need to wait for some time for the password text box, right? So again, we are giving wait method. So wait until every time, no need to create all these methods. Once you create a WebDriver wait object, this is one time job. After that, we need to use wait dot until condition syntax. So wherever you want to wait means give this syntax wait dot until expected conditions class visibility of element located and give some password. Example, now you are waiting for after clicking continue, you are waiting for the password text box. So identify the password text box until the password text box is located. Wait for that password text box. For that, we are giving wait dot until expecting conditions dot visibility of element located that identified object password web element. So we are giving 10 seconds wait time again because already defined here WebDriver object wait object created. We are giving 10 seconds. So every time when you give wait dot until, it will wait for 10 seconds. Okay. And also after that, once password text box enabled, identify the password text box. Web element type of password text box field equal to driver.find element of password field. Sorry. After identifying the password, we are using send case method because password also text box. Password web element also text box. So after identifying the password text box web element, that object dot send case method passing the password value in text. So in double quotations, keeping the password value. And then after entering the password, again, we need to click the login button, right? So to enter into the Amazon web application homepage. So to identify the login button, again, driver.find element of by.id of that attribute value. It will identify the login button. And when for button, we need to use click method to perform action. So after identify the login button, we need to click the login button using click method. So done. after after that, it will open Amazon home page. Then we are searching for the product laptop. So after clicking login button, again you have given some 10 seconds time wait time because it will take some time to open a home page, right? After clicking login button, that's why we should give some wait time. Some 10 seconds wait time I have given. After that, again search box. Search box means this one, this search box. After login, you can find the search box. So enter the value, product value, some laptop, whatever, required product. So for that, we need to find the search box. So driver that find element of by that ID of search box attribute value, ID value. And after identifying search box, we need to enter the text. We need to give some product value name, right? In a search box. So enter the text of the product using send case method. After that, click the search button. So we need to inspect the search button, click the search button. For that, driver.find element of find the search button and click the button. Okay. And then wait for some time. Then it will go to the identified product. If I am searching laptop, it will go to laptop product page. Then select the product. Whatever laptop, like example, Dell product, HP, whatever, you need to select one laptop product. Example, select the product and identify the product. Find element method using XPath locator ID, whatever. Identify the selected product. And then once product is identified, then using click method, because link only, right? Amazon, every product is a link. So usually we need to use click method. Okay, after identify the product, using click method, click it. And wait for some time, wait for 10 seconds after clicking the product. Then you identify the, you open the project, you gone through the description, what is the laptop configuration, so you like the project. Then next step is you need to add the product to cart, right? Add cart. So for the add cart button, it is a button. Identify the add cart button using driver.find element, and the add cart button you need to click again. It's a button, right? We need to add a product to the cart, Amazon cart. Then it is a button. So identify the add cart button, click on the add cart button. Then the product will be added. Again, wait for 10 seconds. Okay. And then use the click on the cart icon to view the cart. So after adding the product to cart, we need to click the add cart button to view the product. For that, same, but clicking the product, add cart icon is click method. So like that, for every method, we need to write the code in Selenium. Okay. So that's why this is how we will write the code in Selenium automation test case. So this is one test case. How to go to Amazon application. So I'm asking, go to Amazon application, log in into Amazon application, select a product and purchase a product. This is one test case. Purchasing a product in the Amazon web application. For that, I need to follow all these instructions. I need to write the test case like this. I need to use all Selenium methods for all the web elements. So this is how we need to write the Selenium automation test cases. I hope everyone understood. So I will share the, I'm preparing the material. I will share the material by tomorrow. Just go through it and practice the methods, Selenium methods and all. Okay. Or else I will share today itself. By tomorrow, your daytime, right? You can able to see the material. Such go through it. Okay. Thank you all. I'm ending the session. Have a nice evening.